Am I sending this to the VL?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
Send it to the prod chat if anything.
I will say one thing. There's one rule before we do get started. There's only one person you have to respect here, and that's not even production. You have to respect Trevor. Trevor is doing this out of his own time, and we respect the hell out of him for doing that. If you disrespect Trevor, I will not be afraid to kick you out of this. So please, that's the only person I ask you to respect here. Thank you.
What a guy. What a guy, that
I
Trevor.
don't know, Trevor, so I'll be nice.
Wait, wait, before we start,
Oh
Trevor,
no.
can I
This is live, just so you
disrespectfully
know.
compliment you?
I was just about to say if Vicky disrespects me, it's fine. I'll be okay.
Yeah,
I probably deserve it.
you really do. You really do.
Y'all have a very interesting relationship.
When you go through like 70 days together. Okay, this is a different season. Okay. Anyway, hello guys. If you don't know me, I am Trevor. I played on last season of Distortion, and I came just short of making it to the end. So I know what it feels like to be on this jury roundtable making a very important decision. Um, I think I want to start off by just asking a few questions about like how we're feeling overall. One note is I as like a roundtable person, I approach it in a laissez-faire style. So I'm gonna let you guys just talk, and if it's like we're kind of at the end of the rope on a conversation, I'll just kind of steer it a certain way or not. But yeah, you guys do whatever. This is your guys' time. Um, so my first question, I'm just curious, how is the vibe about this Final Four? Because this is obviously very different than how we've always felt of it's a Final Three, maybe it's two have a chance, one doesn't, or a Final Two, like they both suck. But there's four people. Do we feel like some people have a more of a chance of winning, a 0% chance of winning, 50-50, or I guess 25-25-25? What's the overall vibe we're feeling so far? Because I got the majority of the jurors here. You just speak.
Underwhelming.
I
There.
don't think that anyone is super excited to vote for anyone. I think there's a couple of people who like one person, but I feel like generally everyone feels like the people who tried really hard were out early and the people who kind of skated by got to the end.
I wouldn't necessarily say skated by, but I feel like there were a lot of the people that were in the front making moves. People like, like Brian tried to do some stuff. I know Vicky, if she stuck around, would have been doing some damage. Jackie and Nick were seen as front runners. A lot of those people got bounced early, and I think you have a lot of people that they were a part of moves, but didn't necessarily make the moves that are still there on the final four. So I think you see there's a lot of Robins, but not a lot of Batmans.
There's a
Also,
lot of sheep.
Yeah,
Mine was a little nicer, but yeah.
they were
would you
nice
say,
to us.
is it mostly sheep in the end? Like, is there any semblance of a herder? But there doesn't sound like there's a lord or anything. But is there a herder that's a little bit, or is it
I
kind
feel
of
like Adam tried it. Like Adam tried to make a move on Roberto at 7. And I think that was where he felt he had enough capital with me, or he thought Cameron did to get me to vote out Roberto. And the way he did it was just sketchy to begin with. Basically adding me into a group chat with him and Cam that I did not want to be a part of and be like, okay, we're a new alliance now. And I was just like, no, we're
Adam
not.
has always been sketch though. Like since the beginning of the game, he's always been sketch. So like I understand, but at the same time, I feel that for the 2 rounds that I was there during merge, um, he was a little bit of you know, a little bit of a powerhouse that was able to connect people. I don't know. Nobody wanted to play a game with me, so whatever.
The thing I will say about Adam's game is it can't be easy. I never experienced myself, but to be voted out and then come into a whole merge tribe that already had a vote, it's not easy to integrate yourself. And to be honest, he wasn't immune those first couple rounds at the merge. Anyone we could have took him out if we wanted to. So that's some props to him for that. So
I just want to add to that when we were in the swap tribe, he he got out because he didn't have alliances. He didn't have a social game that kept him in the game. Like when we planned that split vote, we could have split vote on anyone else and we didn't. We could have split vote on Vicky and we didn't. We split voted on him. He didn't have a social game and then he got out and then he fucking came back. He not only like he had to compete against so many people to come back and like Brian said, like he was at such a disadvantage of missing that leave vote. And to come back, he has no idea who's working with who, what's doing what. And he, like Brian's right, he was immune for the first time he came back, but that next round, he wasn't immune. He called people the fuck out at Tribal, and then no one actually went after him. And then he was just like capable enough to win immunity rounds after that. And who knows if he didn't, who knows where he would be now. But
he would have been gone.
But it's just, but we don't know that because he isn't.
He would have been. No, he would have been. There was a push for him to go at 6. There was a push for him to go at every round.
But there's a push, but there's been a push for me and Nick to go every single fucking round. But we did.
But I can also say that every single round the conversation was if Adam doesn't win, he's gone.
We've literally said that every round. If Austin doesn't win, he's gone. If
Vicky, but what people actually went through with it?
Yeah, we talked a lot about the same people every round. It was always Vicky, Austin, me, Jackie, Adam, and Brian. Everyone said those names every single round until we all left.
Except for him.
I understand that winning out basically isn't that big a deal, but at the same time, we need to see his the strength that it takes not only to win out, but also to be in an accurate position enough to be able to work with people and to be able to speak your fucking mind. He had a second chance in a second chance.
It's a third chance.
You know what? But in the game, he had a second chance to come back because, but he did the thing. I've always respected Adam's game. I don't think that's surprising to anybody. But I respect Adam's game because he's somebody that stands on business. He says what he needs to say. He does crazy things, even if it doesn't work out, all the group chats that I'm sure he has with people. And even if you guys decided that you guys wanted to vote him out in that later stage of the game and he didn't go because he won, he didn't go because he won. And I don't know how it was afterwards, but I'm guessing he did talk to quite a few people and was in a really good position.
Mike, can I ask you a question? Because you were the last one here. Was there any talk of people considering that he was a GOAT because he had been voted out before? Or was that not a factor in y'all's mind?
No, there was talk that maybe people would look at the fact that he won and came back as a detriment against him. I don't think the word GOAT was ever used, but there was an air that because he got voted out once, that would count against him. But the way I'm looking at it right now is, yeah, he got voted out. To me, it doesn't swing it one way or the other. It is what it is. He got voted out in the swap. He came back. I'm looking at what did he do with the second chance where he came in. Yeah, he found out the way the structure was. He didn't get picked off in the early stage. He got an alliance with me, Roberto, and Cam. And from there, the Alex vote happened after Nick and Jackie had left. And then from there, I'm trying to see, I'd have a harder time trying to take points away from him if I feel there was someone else that did more than he did, but I'm seeing everybody kind of on the same level. If there was someone else that I feel could take credit away from him, I feel it would be a stronger case against him, but I see it as okay, Adam didn't do stuff, but who really else did anything?
I also do just want to credit the fact that, Mike, you just said that if he hadn't won immunity all these times, he would have gotten voted out. Think about how much mental capacity it takes to win. How many did he win? 4 in a row? How the fuck do you do that? How do you win that many fucking comps in a row?
The rest of us.
I can't fucking do that. I do one comp and then the next day I'm zonked out. There's no way that I could do the next fucking comp. And he banged those motherfuckers out and he was super, I don't know, that was crazy in my mind. And maybe that's just new person idea, but that's crazy.
No, it was definitely impressive. Sorry, Nick.
I guess I'm different just because I have been around the block for a while. I feel like you should be playing the game assuming you're never going to have immunity, and your gameplay should be based on never having immunity because you can never know what kind of challenge. If it's a crapshoot, you're fucked, no matter how good you are at challenges. And I am someone who believes if you were voted out, you shouldn't win unless you played fucking perfectly when you came back. And I'm struggling to see if Adam played perfectly. You know, Cam also played.
What is perfectly for you? Because like he did make social bonds, he made alliances.
He did. I think
He
Adam
won
played really
comps.
well. I'm just like looking at his game, like it's just still kind of average, and I
Did
don't
he
think it's like
receive-
spectacular.
Did he receive any votes since he came back at the Vicky vote? And then on? No, I don't think
Well,
No,
from
because
there
he was
it was
immune.
he came the Vicky vote, and then Jackie left, and then it was the live night, and then
He was immune the
it
rest of the
was-
game.
and then
Which
Alex
he
was-
did not get targeted at the live night either.
and then out well,
No.
and then you and Nick were always gonna be the target. Well, Nick was only gonna be the target the
But
live night.
still,
Yeah,
I'm just
and
saying you
then-
had your chance then.
And then Lauren was not gonna put him up on the block.
No, I know, but I'm saying like to be like,
But
well,
our
he
side
he
also
wasn't a
completely threw
target,
that
like-
away to them on that live night. We all kind of just said fuck it and gave him the power.
Yeah, and from there after the live night, there was one round he wasn't immune. After that, for
Which
me,
is
the
great.
big round,
Go
right,
off.
for me, the big round I can really use to discredit him was him trying to make his big move because his plan was get Birdo out at 7, get me or Cam out at 6, and then take Austin out at 5. And he had the big plan to make that happen, and the misread there from him was thinking like I wasn't as close with Roberto as I was. Him trying to take that shot there, and then calling me afterwards, like pitching a fit because I didn't go along with what he said.
That's a really questionable plan, Bestie. You're gonna let the best at cops that is also the biggest jury threat at 5 in Austin. But I mean, he didn't. At the end of the day, Austin left. It worked out for him.
But his
I
plan.
mean-
Oh, go ahead, Vicky. Sorry.
Sorry. I mean, in a way, even if it wasn't the way that he did, you, Roberto, and Austin are now in jury, and he's still there.
True.
So, like, it doesn't matter if his plan went like specifically in the order that he wanted. He still got what he wanted in the end.
But
You have
did he
to be
want?
flexible.
Did he want you or Cam out, Mike, or did he want both of you out?
He was selling that like Cam was a bigger threat, but then like when the chips were finally down, when he like it was clear me or Cam was going next, like I knew he wanted me out. And I knew that because like I tried to make a deal with him where if anyone else won that final 5 immunity but him, that I wouldn't go for him because I would have been okay with Jonathan going at 5. He wouldn't make the same deal back. But then he was trying to tell me that I wasn't a big jury threat there. So I'm pretty sure he wanted me out over Cameron.
I don't know how much. If he wanted you out over Cameron, I gotta admit, and no offense to you, that was a misread because I think that based on this jury, Cam was a bigger threat than you. I think that's how it's going to go. Cam is a bigger jury threat than you were. No offense.
He was looking at it more as like I'm a better speaker. Cameron gets nervous. Cameron probably wouldn't be so good on the spot, and I would be in a final tribal setting. I would be quicker on my feet with how to answer questions. Maybe, he said like, well, you're more charismatic than Cameron. I think that's what he was looking at, where in a situation like that, I would be able to talk my way out of stuff where Cameron might kind of freeze up in those situations.
I want to step in for a second because we've been spending a lot of time on Adam, and I don't think I think there's been like 3 mentions of the other 3 finalists in this discussion.
Lauren hasn't mentioned at all.
Which is interesting. Would you guys, real quick, how many jurors are there? There 10?
9.
11?
9.
9.
Oh, it is 9.
I can't count.
I was trying to count. I was
Yeah.
like, I got 10. I was like, there's no way that's right. So it's 9 jurors. So the majority is here. Just like a quick gauge before we move on to other people, just just because time purposes. But do we feel like it's one of those scenarios where it's like that half of you or whatever some percentage of you is pro Adam and the other one is anti Adam, like you are voting for him or against him?
No.
And that is
No.
complicated.
No.
It's not okay.
I disagree with that because I think Nick is voting Cam because he doesn't want to vote Adam because Adam got voted out. And Nick can correct me on that, but I feel like Nick's number one argument against Adam is because Adam got voted out.
Which is valid.
No,
Like, it's
it
a valid
is.
reason
No,
not to
that's
vote
a
for
valid.
someone.
No, that's a valid reason. But the question was, do you think that people are voting either pro Adam or voting someone else because they don't want to vote Adam? And I feel like that's kind of your argument is like, I don't want to vote Adam just because I don't want to vote Adam,
And they
and
don't want to vote anybody.
period.
Valid.
Yeah,
I mean,
except-
for me, I'm voting Cam. Because at the end of the day, like I'm voting for who I felt the best with and who like really worked with me in the game. Whereas I feel Adam would tell me a lot of half truths. And the thing with Adam might be the worst liar I've ever seen in my life. Like, not in terms of he lies a lot. He's really bad at it. Like,
Yeah.
it's so obvious when he's lying. And so for me, like, I would sit there, I'm like, I know he's lying, but the fact he thinks I'm this dumb and I actually believe this right now. So for me, I'm not voting against Adam. I'm voting for Cam.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to ask Mike. He's not considering Lauren or Jonathan at all.
Lauren, I mean, me and her, we just when the lines got drawn in this game, we just never got back on the same page. So like, I don't have any ill will towards Lauren at all. Like, I think she's awesome. We weren't on the same page. We never really worked together, and we never really got back on the same page. Jonathan, absolutely not. Jonathan could write me a check for $1 million at Final Tribal, and I still would not vote for him.
I think that'd be bribery. I'm not sure how production feels about bribery.
Production wouldn't care.
It's not in the rule, so they can't really do anything about
That's true.
Exactly.
If I get part of the 1 million, I'll turn a blind eye.
Yeah, if anyone wants to offer me $1 million, I'll vote for them. I don't care.
Yeah. But Jonathan, absolutely. And Jonathan said he thinks he's winning this game, and he thinks he's like, I'm going to fight Sar. I want to see it. Fine. Show me. Because from where I see it, you did nothing. And then you tried to do something at 6, and you whined and complained that it didn't work. So you did this big pity party.
I feel like that's why I'm just kind of confused. Like, so part of me I don't really talk about Lauren because like I've been trying to talk to her since day one, and she goes to other people saying that she and I haven't talked because I'm not talking to her. Like, girlfriend, I've been trying to talk to you all fucking game, and when I do, it's nothing, literally nothing, except for once. And I was like, okay, so I just at that point I don't have enough information to even want to vote you. And I think with Jonathan, I'm just confused on what happened in his game that made him the sole survivor.
I think Lauren plays a game where she's really close with the people she's working with, and I think I thought I was one of those people until she voted me out. But the other people she's not working with, she doesn't have as good a relationship, if any. So that is a problem when it comes to the jury phase. She might make it to the end, but it is a problem.
Yeah, Lauren didn't speak to me after she voted for me, and then she wants to use that against me. And it's like, but girl, you haven't tried to make any effort to come to me either, so you can't be mad about that.
As somebody that worked with Lauren, again, for the 2 rounds that I was there, I'm always going to be salty. As somebody that worked, I don't want to hear it. As somebody that worked with Lauren, she did what she had to do with the correct people. Like, I remember her being very active in the chat that me, Adam, Roberto, Austin, and her had. Like, I remember her being very active there and talking and going through everything, but also being like, okay, I'm at work, because she does work 2 jobs, and being like, I'm at work. So what are we doing? But I remember her being like, for the round that I left, she was very much like, okay, so we're doing Nick. Cool. What do I have to do? Who do I have to talk to and everything? I think she was not very close, but I think she was pretty close with Cam during everything.
Cam was leaking a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, Cam was telling us everything.
Yeah.
Cam was giving a lot of your guys' info. That's how we knew that you guys had a chat, is because Lauren had told people.
But the self-awareness for Lauren might be lacking a little bit. Because if she realizes she's not like the big threat, or doesn't have win equity, I wasn't there past 9, but did she even try to make a big move, Mike? In any of the time she was there?
So the night Austin got voted out, I don't want to tell me, she put some messages in the tribe chat, basically talking about how people need to pull their heads out of some people's asses. You're letting some people like cakewalk to the end, and if anyone's looking for an ally, come find me. But I think that was her problem, is there was no fluidity in her game. She had the people that she wanted to work with. And again, same thing that happened with Nick happened with me, where her big thing with me was, well, Mike doesn't talk to me. But again, like she wasn't blowing my phone up trying to get in touch with me, and I was shutting her out. So like I think I thought the understanding was we're not on the same page, so why act like we are when we know we're not? And I felt she used that against me then, and I don't see her. I never really saw her trying to make a big move. It was always just, well, if someone wants to tell me what to do, I'll do it.
I feel like at least the other three all made their own decisions. Whether they were good decisions or not is another story. We don't need to debate that. But I feel like Lauren was very much, okay, team, how do I best serve the team? Which is great gameplay to get to the end, but then why should we vote for you if you were a
That's
team
why I was
player,
like,
not
is it
an
giving Soul
individual?
Survivor? Probably not. It's giving
Especially
you got
when-
to the end, but it's not giving Soul Survivor.
Especially when she
And
heard it's the
Vicky-
final
yeah.
four. Like it's if it's a final two, you might win. She might win because there's a better jury, or like she might have better game. But final four, at her gameplay at that point was hard to find three people she's better than.
Yeah.
In
Is
Final
there-
Four, you have to do something to like stand out. There's a lot
Let
of
me-
people to be against.
Let me interject real quick. Is there any? I was gonna say this as like a general thing at the end, but is there anything Lauren can say to sway people's votes? Like maybe like this was my strategy to act like this is how I got to the end. I know Jackie's answer. Is there anything like that would impress you that she
I-
could say that could potentially sway your vote?
Think that if we found out that Lauren and Cam ran the entire game together, which I don't think is the truth, that it could sway, but I think it would sway for Cam to win, not Lauren, because then Cam would have been the one being seen as running the game. I feel like it would take a lot for Lauren to convince people. It would be more based on the fact that she's really likable and people have a lot of bitter feelings towards some of the other members of the Final Four.
Because I feel like the best thing Lauren could really do is try to discredit the other three, but it doesn't really help her in the end because I don't think you really get there by tearing other people down. I think she'd have a really hard time convincing me to vote for her, because especially when she was so open about not working with me and putting up on the block, voting for me a couple times, and yeah, it'd be tough. Bribery might help.
Bribery is the constant.
I just want to see some self-awareness from her. Like she knew that she was on the bottom, but I want her to say like, if I made a move, it would have made me a bigger threat, and I wouldn't be sitting at the final. Like that might be
I'm
something.
confused because when was she on the bottom? Because we fucking voted out Joppy. Like, I just think I'm just getting confused on she got how
Lauren
many
was
votes?
never
She was never deemed a threat. Like to be like for her to be like, well, I was on the bottom. Like, when
Yeah,
and where
but-
can I get receipts?
But she chose to
When-
be on the bottom. Like we all try to bring Lauren in after
Hold
the
up,
Levo, and
Vicky
she
has
said
something
no.
to say.
Sorry,
You're
Vicky.
fine. If you're talking about wanting to be on the bottom, like it's not that maybe to you guys it didn't feel like she was on the bottom because you guys were so open to working with her, but at the end of the day, none of y'all worked with her. Like let's be
No,
real
but
here.
let's back up for a
I
second.
do.
Let's back up because we did attempt. We did make the attempts to work with her. She chose not to work with us. And because
Yes.
of that, we targeted other people. Like literally to the point where like I was never a duo with Joppy, but I was working with him and I deadass voted him out when it should have been Lauren. Like I feel like there are just points, and I did vote Joppy because I knew there was no way I was getting votes on Lauren. But I do just want to make the point that she can say that she feels like she was on the bottom, but there's no evidence other than her choosing to be on the bottom of her actually being on the bottom.
I do feel like the
Isn't-
people she worked with are not here. Like I do think she worked really well with Austin in this game, and maybe Austin, if he was here, could advocate for her game more. And I worked with her somewhat, but I don't know her game all that well. But
Well, and like that's fine, but like, does that show that she
But
was
like,
on
why
the
were
bottom?
people working with her? They weren't working with her.
I want to hear what Vicky has to say so she can finish her thought from like 2 minutes ago.
So like at the end, no, Lauren it's not that she wanted to be on the bottom. It's not that she just thought. Like the message in the chat, like I relate to that. You guys could say that you guys wanted to work with her or bring her into situations, but it wasn't open. Like nothing was open. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had a question for Mike, and this is going to really dictate how I feel about Lauren. I'm sorry to ask you a lot of questions, Mike. You've just been there the longest. But from your
That's
relationship with
fine.
her, did she the whole time ever since I was voted out? Did she try to reach out to you and work with you at all, or was she just stubborn and not want to work with you at all? And
We would hardly talk. It would just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" I tried to feel her out during one vote, and she just wasn't really having it. Like I was just like, "So how are you feeling about tonight?" She's like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, well, would you want to vote for Roberto?" So I guess for me, I can only look at it from my perspective there. It's like, okay, you were on the button, but you gave me nothing, and then you were so open, oh, people have their heads up Mike's ass. Mike's gonna get to the end and he's gonna win, and you're just all letting him do it. Did you think people weren't gonna tell me that? So at
But
that point, if I know you're
blame
gunning for me, how can I really trust you moving forward then?
I feel like I'm just
I
confused though, because she did find
Hold up,
her
Vic,
group. Go ahead, Vicky.
sorry.
You can go ahead.
I don't blame her. So
No, I don't blame her either. But then I can't be vilified for not wanting to vote for her then.
no, I'm not vilifying you.
No, I know you're not. But I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to advocate for her game because we were working together. Maybe
Yeah.
not as close as not as close as her and Austin maybe, but we were still working together. She still tried to keep me. She still tried even though everything was closed. I think you guys are coming out of the perspective that oh, she didn't really have a game, but at the end of the day, even though she had to survive with the group, she still fucking survived. And it's not only because, as you said, Mike, she was low-hanging fruit. It's not only that, because take this into account. Jabby got voted out. If you guys really wanted to stay there, she counted as a vote. She was there every single round, and she probably voted for the people that are on this jury. She was a vote. If you want to talk to like that, and I know she's probably gonna watch this, and Lauren, I'd say this with no disrespect, she was a vote. She was somebody that
I want to clarify a couple things. I'm not dissing. I'm not trying to disrespect her game. I know she had game. I know she had alliances. She did last year the longest. I'm saying that someone had mentioned that she was on the bottom, and I was just saying that it's really difficult to see that when she did make those alliances, but she was never actually she got one vote and it was Joppy. I just don't think I truly understand her perspective of being on the bottom, and that might be a question I need to ask her. But to add on top of that, I do want to say that in the very beginning of my game, I did talk about numbers and I did say why voting Joppy was a bad idea. And in doing so, I turned myself into a fucking threat because some bitches can't keep their mouths closed. I fucking said we should not vote him right now. And you know what ended up happening? My entire lines flipped on me. So I did know that Lauren shouldn't have stayed in when she did. There were moves that were made, but some bitches can't handle bitches, and that's just the reality. But I'm in no way am I disrespecting or saying that she didn't have a game. I'm just saying that I personally attempted to be a part of her game, and she did not want that. So I just can't understand voting for her when I wasn't given the opportunity to understand what happened.
I think with Lauren too, and I wish he was here to clarify this, but there was one point where me and Roberto were talking back and forth, and Roberto said, "Oh, Lauren's my cam. Lauren will kind of go wherever direction I steer her." Then I want to know, was that really the case? Was that her game to kind of use a shield with someone like a Roberto? Really, what direction did you want to go in? And if it didn't work out, how were you pivoting to get away from it? Go somewhere else? Versus it kind of seemed like a plan didn't work, and she would just kind of be like, "Okay, well, that plan didn't work, so screw this."
Mike, you just said something interesting there that Roberto said that Lauren was her cam, but that brings me my question to you. He said that to you, referring that implies that you in the duo of you and Cam that you were running things. Is that true, or was Cam doing more in that duo than you?
So that is how I was trying to sell it to Roberto, because I want Roberto to think that were me and Cam on the same page for pretty much every vote. Yeah. When we got to 7 was where I really wanted to separate us with that, and that was why I didn't vote with Cam, because I needed the perception that we weren't as tight. And I didn't tell Cam I was doing it because I needed him to actually be that mad at me to go around and tell everybody. And he went to Roberto, he went to Adam, he went to everybody and was like, "Oh, Mike did this and I can't." And then I told him after, I'm like, "Yeah, I needed you to be that mad." because I needed to separate, which bought us another round there where I knew Roberto would be targeted next. I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, I told Cam to do this. I told Cam to do that. I did feel like it was a partnership, but I do feel like there were a lot of times where, and I'm sure Nick and Jackie can attest to it, I had to be like, dude, you're good. Calm down. It's cool. We're going to get through this round. It's fine. But I can also say, too, there was one round, Brian, it was when you were throwing my name out, that Roberto came to me and said it, and I went to Cam, and I'm like, I need your idol. And it was kind of like, no questions asked.
So
take with that.
Cam was very willing to
that
get
what
his
you
idol around.
I want to pause real quick, because I just want to make sure we're shifting. Are we good shifting to Cam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Keep going then.
So, I mean,
So,
take with that information what you must, Brian, but I mean, I did not have to convince him to give me the idol.
But you said that
The
he
only
was kind of like.
person,
Oh, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
the only person that would ever need to like convince him to get the idol was Jackie. Me or Mike, it was no questions asked. He was just like, here you go, have my
And that
idol.
was the round that I knew I was going, because I want to say that Cam getting that idol was purely me and Nick running that fucking idol board in our fucking merge tribe, in our original tribe.
Okay,
Mike,
so
you
to be
Mike,
fair,
you took
me and
multiple days
Cam,
off.
so Cam gave me
I
that whole
was
first section that I
working.
gave you.
That's fine,
me-
but there were like
me and
times
Cam
where
were
you
working
did do
together.
it, and that's like I'm not like nothing against you. Yeah, but okay, but in all fairness, I also
But
threw
we all worked together.
for a couple days. I was like throwing you guys on different tracks, but yes, but I do want to say that to get that idol, it was like we can't like he did not get that on his own, and that's the frustrating part. On top of that, a lot of the building relationships and like getting the certain votes, I felt like everything had to be spoon fed. Someone like Mike just mentioned the fact that he had to talk to Cam a lot and calm his anxiety down. I literally became a mother this game, and I feel like the majority of our tribals 30 minutes before, like we would have a plan hours, like maybe an hour in advance, and a half hour I'd have to call our group to calm everyone down, because I felt like there was just there was, first of all, like he couldn't come up with the plan himself, or if he did, he just didn't want to fucking say it. Then he didn't want to have to figure out like what to do, how to do it. No, I know you're shaking your head no, because I know that's the perspective.
No, I'm gonna wait because I do want to push back on that one.
No. Like
Yeah,
I know
I
that's
also have comments about
I know
this.
I know that's the perspective he gave me, but that's the perspective he gave me, a juror who
No,
now has
yeah,
to
you're
vote
100%
for him.
right.
So it's
Yeah,
like
you're 100% right.
I spoon fed him, and I don't want to vote for someone who I spoon fed. Like I want to see someone who actually did something on their own. I know he made other moves. I know he got me out and all that shit. But it's like, dude, what?
And I can say he definitely got better with that. Like the round where Brian left, like I said, he was fine. And then when Alex went, he was one of like him and Adam were the main ones pushing for Alex, and like Austin obviously was gonna go along with it because it was either Austin's ass or Alex's ass going that round. And then I mean he was the main one pushing for Robert. Like as soon as that night where Austin left, after he called me being pissed off at me, he was like, Roberto has to go next. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I got you, bro. Like I know. And he's like, okay, we'll get like you, me, Adam, and Lauren will do it. We'll get rid of Roberto there. So yeah, I know from your perspective, Jackie, that you said he didn't really come up with plans on his own, but from where I saw it later in the game, he did seem like he got more confident with.
Well, right, and that's also
Brian
later in the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Even in the first half of the game, because I don't know how close me and Cam really were, but I felt like me and Cam were working really tightly. I knew what he was planning, what he was doing. And I do think that like before we got on our group call and me and Jackie would make the plan, me and Cam had already made the plan that we were going to push and just knew it would come better sounding from me because me and Jackie had the more loud, boisterous voices in that group. So I do think Cam had a lot to do. Like Cam and me were the big ones who got the vote on Joppy in the first place. And that was Cam's idea because Cam thought that Jackie would go if we didn't flip the vote.
Which I did know. I did know that Cam came up with that because I knew the amount of times that I had
He
to talk
came to
about
me
numbers.
saying, I need to call. We need to call. He was freaking out. I'm like,
No,
if you
I
want to
knew.
do Joppy to save Jackie, I will do
because
that.
Brian and Jonathan were like, we need to get rid of Joppy. Like I understood why we were doing it. And I knew that it wasn't coming from you because I knew you understood why I wasn't pushing for him. So I knew it had to come from someone else. And I love you, Mike, but I felt like that wouldn't have come from you in our chat. So I did know that Cam had some
I wasn't paying
shit.
attention. What
You
wouldn't
pushing
come
a
from me?
vote for Joppy that early in the game. I knew you wouldn't have like
I was one of the
Mike was
going to
totally
people-
part of it.
Yeah, no, I was going to people saying if we don't get rid of
We weren't
Jockey
gonna tell you
now,
until Mike told us we had to tell you. Like we were gonna leave you out
yeah,
of that,
I
bestie.
was pushing to other people. I'm like, Joppy will be the person that turns into the we can get rid of him whenever we want. And I don't want somebody that people are going to keep over me. I want to make sure people need me more than anybody else.
Yeah, Cam wanted to leave you out of that vote, and then Alex and Mike were both like, "I don't know if it's a good idea."
Yeah, you
When
know,
it-
it wasn't a fucking good idea. So,
So
mm.
also with Cam though, if I can give him credit in the beginning, like with the Lee vote, he would come to me and say, "Hey, Austin's going to reach out to you. Lee's going to reach out to you. Here's what I told them. Here's what you need to say," and that helped me gain agency with those guys. So Cam definitely wasn't just sitting around taking orders from me. He would give me information of like, "Hey, this person's going to call you. This is what you need to say," and I would hit it. Like when Lee called me, and he was like, at one point, Cam said, "This is what you need to say," and even Lee said, "He's like, oh, he's like he didn't know." He's like, "That's exactly what I need to hear from you." So Cam did have like those kind of little subtle moves in the background he was making to advance me and him in this game, which was our
I
goal.
think Cam played a great. If you want to say that his allies were the bad cops, he was the good cop. He played a really good game as being a second in command and really balancing those relationships so that he had multiple people that thought they were his number one and that he could work with them to make moves. And I feel like a lot of people trusted Cam, and it burned a lot of people.
When it comes to Cam, it's just my perspective. I gave him a lot of information throughout the game, and he would give me nothing. I think Roberto said it perfectly earlier in the chat, and that might just be my perspective because I know Jackie and Nick and Mike, y'all had an alliance with him, but he would not give me anything, even though I was giving him most of my information, if not
But
all
if
of
you're
it.
not his number one, why would he give you information?
But
Like,
there's
Dude,
not giving
wait, but I
there's
also-
why are
not
you
giving
continuing to give him information if he's not giving you anything?
I also want to
Like, that's good on
clarify.
his game that he's getting
He-
information from people.
He never gave me information. He gave our group chat information, and that was solely because Mike and Nick were in it. That wasn't
Yeah, he
like a
had
me
some
thing.
obsession with Jackie. I don't know what it
He
was.
It was Tyler 2.0. Like it wasn't like
to Brian's point though, there's a difference between like at least try to bullshit me. I think is what Brian's trying to say. But like you gave me nothing.
He would just be a
Like-
yes man in my calls and texts.
Yeah,
with him.
but I
But
think to your point, Brian, what you're trying to say is like at least like try to BS me to show like, but you're just flat. There's nothing.
that's why he's the least on my list to vote because it's just my personal opinion that like he didn't give me anything when
Well,
I
that's
tried
what
to
this
give
all
him.
boils down to at the end of the day.
I think
That's
Vicky
true.
was right when she left to her tribal. I just don't think I like Cam's gameplay, and I think that's just a personal opinion. Like I made alliances with people and I said shit and I kept that shit. I said that I had the people in my 4-person group chat. I wanted that to be my final 4, and I would have fucking died for that. And I did.
Regular season, it would have been the final 4, but because it was second
Like,
chances,
that would
we
have
all
fucking
got
been it.
egos.
But like I think because of the way that Cam was a little more backstabby, like at least to Vicky's point, Adam was straight up. Adam told me what he was doing. He didn't hide shit from me.
I can't say the same, bestie.
He never bullshitted me.
Adam bullshitted me constantly.
Oh, I think he was bullshitting me. I was like, no, he did do the shit he said he did.
I can't.
I was like,
say
unless
that.
you know it's that different. No, but I think that's why
The
it's
problem
like
with Adam though is like I said, he is probably the worst liar ever. Like he just it's so obvious when he's lying.
I have a
It's
question.
obvious when he's lying because he doesn't give a fuck. You know?
No, I know.
He doesn't care.
Like he would
Yeah,
come to
he's
me,
just
he would come to me and
placating.
be like, "Oh, like Cam said this," and I'm like, "They did not say that."
I
it
have
was
a
like-
question for
Brian,
Vicky.
yeah,
Wait,
Brian, go
wait.
ahead, then I will take over.
When you left, Vicky, you said to Cam or something to the effect of no one respects your game. I want to get your perspective on that and why you said that and what you were seeing when you said that.
If I am being totally honest, I was poking at an insecurity of his because that's what he had mentioned to me previously, that he was afraid that like people didn't trust him or that people didn't want to play a game with him. So genuinely poking at an insecurity.
Okay.
That's so
Um,
rotten. I kind of love it. So
That doesn't-
mean.
That does not surprise me, Vicky. No, I'm just
Yo,
kidding.
Vicky, I'm never getting on your bad side. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, no.
So I know we're starting to wrap things up, but you guys know there's a 4th person, right? Like, have you guys said his name this entire time? I think
Who?
Mike did
A couple times.
That was my
Who is
writer. he was my ride or
Who's
die,
that?
but still, I don't feel like I want to vote for him because he sabotaged me in my vote out, and he was stubborn the whole game.
He was
It's
so
Jonathan.
stubborn. Fuck. Can I just say, fuck Jonathan? And Jonathan, I hope you're fucking watching this.
I want to
are
make a comment.
That is
a
such a
wolf.
different comment from Vicky than when Vicky left. Vicky was like,
Right?
Jonathan, I love you.
Like-
You're such a cuddly bear.
I
And
love
now
you
you're like,
so
fuck
much.
you.
No, Jonathan is genuinely a wolf in sheep's clothing. He hid behind Brian's ass the entire fucking game. What
Speak
moves
on
did
it.
Jonathan have? I tried so hard and got nowhere. I got nowhere because the fact of the matter is that Jonathan came here. He just said, I'm going to shut up, sit pretty, hide behind Brian, not do jack shit. He never wanted to play and then had the audacity to come to me the night that I got voted out and go, I just wanted to do what's best for my game. No, it wasn't what's best. Well, I can't really say that because now you're in Final Four. Congratulations to
Oh,
you.
yeah.
But what did you do?
There was a
Thank you.
4-person chat with me, Austin, Jonathan, and Lauren, and we at the round I left, I was trying to get on Mike, and Jonathan said 3 minutes before the vote. I thought, and we were trying to get Roberto on board too, but then 3 minutes before the vote, he's like, "Oh, I'm still voting Roberto. I don't like when plans change last minute," and that's like blew my mind because it's like I'm your number one. I'm switching your number one, and my life's on the line here. You're not willing to flip it to try to save me, and that didn't rub me. That rubbed me the wrong way. And even if it wasn't to save me, not willing to flip it last minute, it frustrated me.
Hey,
Mike-
Brian, you want
Mike
to know a
Bendick.
secret about that one?
I don't think it was going to happen, but still, Jonathan.
No, you
frustrates
want me to tell you a secret about that one?
Go ahead.
I told him that you were throwing his name out in order to save yourself.
That's rotten.
He did.
That's rotten. I mean, it's Brian.
Roberto
I love
told
you,
me about
Brian,
the plan.
sometimes.
Roberto
So-
told me about the plan way before that. So I went to him. I was like, me and Cam went to him. We're like, Brian's trying to throw you out to save himself, right?
I would
And
throw
I
him out to
was,
save
but-
myself.
I know you were.
Brian goes,
So-
well, that's not a lie.
I forget if it was the first or the second round of merge, but Jackie approached the group saying, okay, so we need to talk to Brian and Jonathan tonight because if we don't, Jonathan's not going to want to do anything because Jonathan doesn't like it when plans change. So like it was really obvious to everyone that Jonathan you had to talk to so far in advance to even do anything because talking to him the day of tribal was pointless. There was no.
No.
I did.
What,
I made sure. No. I made sure with every plan with Jonathan. First of all, I was talking to Jonathan before I was talking to Brian, and Brian knows this shit because I was more into John. I wanted to work with Jonathan and not Brian. But when I went to Jonathan,
Yeah, Jackie wanted to do Jonathan and
I
Vicky.
wanted to do
Fuck
Jonathan and
Brian.
Vicky, and Jonathan was like, "Well, I really only trust Brian," and I was like, "All right, well, I guess I got to go with Brian." And so I wanted to keep Vicky too, but that just wasn't in the cards because people are bitter. But not Vicky being bitter, just like other people being bitter.
I want to keep Vicky. I want to keep her.
we had some issues.
I didn't
going
want to keep
into
Vicky at that
merge.
point. Sorry.
No, but
Before
no,
that
but
point, I did.
But the first conversation
Go
I
ahead.
had with Jonathan was talking about the anxiety of last minute tribals because we've played a game previously together where everything was last minute and it was fucked up. And so that's when he was like, oh no, if like people bring a plan to me, it needs to be way in advance because I will not do last minute shit. So I did every single night, the night before a tribal, like the night we learned the comp results, I went to Jonathan and I was like, so what are you thinking? Because I knew that I needed to have a plan with him hours before tribal and it needed to be locked in and loaded.
And that shows me stagnant gameplay. Like he's not willing to be flexible, in my opinion.
This is what
What did
gets
he
me
do
with
that
Jonathan.
was flexible.
At 6, he was guns blazing, pitchforks ready. He's like, Cam's gotta go. Cam's the biggest threat in this game. Cameron's gotta go. He tried to get me and Roberto on board. And honestly, I was very considering going to Rocks. That was horrible grammar. I was considering going to Rocks that night because I knew we were going to. And then he goes to, he's like, oh yeah, I told Adam about you, me, and Roberto's alliance. Included the name of the alliance too in it. And then Adam tells me it, and I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? And then and then it flips to like, well, Mike, I feel like you're the biggest threat, and I feel like you're gonna win if you get to the end. But I'm cool with going to the end with you because I've already started writing my speech on how to beat you. So I'm okay with you going to the end. And then later he's like, no, Mike, I'm sorry, you got to go. You're the biggest threat. And then after Roberto goes, he sends me this essay, which I sure as hell was not going to read, about how me voting Roberto out was the biggest betrayal he's ever experienced in an org, and he can never play another game because he's just so emotional after this, and I'm like, how I can't believe you would do that. I was gonna take you to the end and lose to you, and then
When did you all become that close that
that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but when were we that tight, Jonathan, for you to feel this horrible, stinging betrayal? Like you were more mad at me than Roberto was.
Also, just really quickly, because I know Vicky's about to leave. I also do want to preface that Vicky, I know that people pushed. So the round that you left, I did spread your name because of your paranoia, and I do want to apologize for that because I understand the anxiety of that. But I was not the one who said we should go for Vicky this round. I was willing to keep you on longer, and you can ask Nick. I think it was Alex who said I think we should go for Vicky because that's what everyone's gonna want. It was you. Okay, someone else said we should go for Vicky, and at that point, I didn't have
well,
immunity
Alex
anymore.
said it, but me and Alex already talked about it in DMs
okay.
before we came to you.
And me,
you
Alex, and
go.
Roberto had talked about it in our little thing too.
If Vicky had left me alone, I would have left Vicky alone, but Vicky kept coming for me. I'm sorry,
I
Vicky.
didn't
You
think
know I
Vicky
love
would
you.
ever. I didn't think Vicky
Vicky,
would
you're
ever
muted.
trust me again after the. I don't think Vicky would trust me again after the Lee vote. So I was kind of like, let's cut bait here.
Vicky, you're muted.
I think she's in her other chat.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, she is HOH thing. I
Oh.
think.
Not me fucking being muted. That's disrespectful. I was muted on both ends. It's not that I wouldn't trust you, Mike. It's that every time that I tried, like, nothing. Same with Brian and Jonathan, nothing. Same with you and Nick, Jackie, like, nothing. I wouldn't have any
So that's
leeway.
that's a really bad habit that I have. And the thing was, like, Roberto would tell me, like, oh yeah, Vicky leaked this plan. Vicky leaked this plan. So that's a bad habit I have.
Jack shit. Like,
I know, but that's a bad habit I have where I was kind of like, all right, well, let
Yeah,
me
I
just
wouldn't have
be
believed
super
that.
guarded
Vicky's not
now.
much of a blabbermouth. Vicky keeps shit to herself unless she has to.
Well,
shut
the
the
thing is,
fuck.
I didn't know her. So, and and with me and Roberto were cool. So I'm like, well, if Roberto's telling me, it must be true. So,
And you trusted the person that literally everybody said that was blabbering on 45,000 times. You
Actually,
trusted the person that
wait. I also do.
did he
want to
did he
talk
tell
about
anybody that me and Roberto had a final two?
Are we surprised?
I know, but did Roberto say to anybody that me and him had a final two deal?
He said that you guys were really close and that you were really working together. And he could get you on any plan that you wanted. Did he tell you that?
How'd that work out for him in the end? Love you, Roberta.
I also do want to preface, and Roberto does know, I was the person who started that rumor about Roberto talking too much because he did do that in my season, and he did start to do it a little bit in this season. Not saying that he spread all his like information, but in doing so, it made people a little less easy about trusting him with shit, which obviously
Also,
like.
I want to know if anybody here knew about my power.
Your block a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know.
We all know.
We all know.
Everybody
Brian
knew
told
shit.
us.
You told
Brian
me,
told
Vicky.
Well, Vicky, what did you say? Like rumors spread like STDs in this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you, Brian, that I was only telling Jonathan and you.
And then
Okay,
Jonathan and I
yeah.
talked, and we thought you told someone else before because we
No.
weren't.
No, you want to know what happened? The day that I told Lee got out of the game. The day that I told who else? Like, there was two people beforehand that I had told to, and they both got out of the game. I told Adam. Did Adam talk to any of y'all? Exactly. So my point is, that's why I tried. Like, I told Jonathan was the first person that I told that I had that power of. And the only person that you and Jonathan, that was going to be the two. Everybody else that I told, nothing. So
yeah. let's wrap this up in a bow. I have one last question. We've gone over a lot about each person. Again, just ending with more of a general question. How much does the theme of second chances mean to your vote? Is that going to impact that people? Everyone's played this game before. This is a returning season. Is that going to affect your vote at all?
I don't know how they played.
Lost at the end. I know it was a first boot, so I don't think like there's a strong enough story attached to their first season for it to matter this season.
I think the only
and I would
instance
second boot and Heatwave, and none of these people are on my season. So,
I was just gonna say that in the sense of playing a different season, no, but I am impacting the fact that someone got a second chance in the second chance season. If that makes sense.
I'm not holding that against Adam personally.
I'm not holding it
I'm not
against
either.
him. Like, not against him. It's making me consider him more because of the things that he had to go through for it.
It does fit thematically with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I will hold it against him. I'm sorry, Adam, you're
I-
great. But I will
I-
hold it against you. I'm
It's
not
okay.
gonna
No, that's
brag.
valid. It's valid. I understand it. I understand it.
I mean, I came into this kind of like when I left last night, dead set on voting Cam. I'm willing to hear Adam out, and I'm willing to hear like outside of the challenges because yeah, he was extremely impressive in those. But like, what did you do to like what agency did you have? What moves did you make? Like, I want to see what he did that was impressive outside of the challenges because I didn't see a whole lot. And when I did see him try to make a big move, he swung and missed.
Does anyone else have any thoughts? I know I asked about Lauren before, but does anyone else have any thoughts like Mike does on like I would hear X and I would think about voting them?
Oh.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think
Oh no,
Adam played,
it wasn't gonna be that.
I think Adam played a really fluid game because me and Nick, or at least me, I voted him out as part of the reason he got out in the swap. But even so, when he got back in the game, he was willing to work with me, and we did. We didn't vote Vicky, we voted together at the Vicky vote against Nick, and he was willing to like work with me, and that really I respect that because he could hold a grudge and not wanted to work with me, but he was very fluid, so that is major props in my opinion.
See it for me, best. Adam would not give me shit. Boy would not be open to me at all.
I love Adam. I'm voting for Adam because nobody else there. Like Lauren, love her. She's great. What did she do except hide behind strong people? Adam was really the only one out of those four that I actually saw playing the game and wanting to be there and actually doing something to keep himself alive.
I have a question. Do any of these four have a big move that they can hold that they were a major part of? Like, I don't see
That's
it
what I'm
personally.
saying. I want to hear. I want to
Yeah,
hear
it's
what.
Cam.
Oh yeah, I
Just
want to hear
Cam.
what they did.
Any of
Yeah.
Cam's moves.
I mean, I don't know how much weight does pre-merge hold. Like, do we care about that?
What did Cam do pre-merge?
Exactly.
He got
What did any one
Tyler
of them do
out-
pre-merge?
He got Tyler.
Oh,
out
you
there.
mean during the swap? I'm sorry. I thought
I
you
mean,
meant
one
an
of
OG.
one of them got voted out pretty much. But
They did.
I was thinking I was thinking pre-swap tribe. No, I was thinking
No,
pre-swap tribe.
I mean,
I mean,
while
Jonathan
Adam
was a
was
part of
getting
the first
voted out in
Adam
the swap,
vote, but
Cam was the one.
I don't think
that
Jonathan was a big one.
Cam was the one that was the swing vote and was the one getting in good with Lee and Austin, which helped in the merge. So
I feel like the issue is it's all of them are kind of underwhelming, and so we're trying to nitpick what we could like pick as the overall factor, and it's just difficult because I think in my previous season I knew dead on who I was voting because that game was just well rounded, and this is just feeling a little underwhelming, so I don't really know what to do. I mean, I think I know what I know who I'm voting for, but I think it's hard.
what I'm concerned with is that Cam's gonna be really like during the tribal, and Adam's just gonna eat him alive.
I mean, but that's part of
No, I
the
know.
final tribal
That's
council.
that's just as a friend. That's where I'm concerned.
Oh, no. As a friend, I understand. I get that.
gotcha.
So.
I mean, in my opinion, Cam played the best strategically, but is a social and physical game as good as the other people?
I
And
feel like
you're
if Cam
spec-
wasn't trying to be, I don't want to say friends with everybody. If he was willing to own the fact that he was kind of playing backstabby, but I don't know if he will, and that's kind of what I want to hear from him. Like,
I think he's going to
I
try to
think he
play the
would try.
loyalty card.
He would try to be backstabby. Like when Jackie got voted out, he was upset that Nick left, and I was like, "Well, Nick would have been pissed at us." He's like, "No, Nick would have stuck. We could have made it work with them." I'm like, "No, Nick would have been fucking pissed at us for flipping on
No,
Jackie."
what would I have done, Dusty?
No, I know, but I'm like, I don't think Nick would have. So he's like, "No, I wish we didn't." I'm like, "Just own it. We flipped. Let's see what happens now."
And let's see what happens in 2 days from now. We
A
have
3-3-2-2 vote, right? Or
You
something
know
like-
what? No, I'm not
We're
getting
not
to
doing
talk
this
about that
again.
again.
Yeah,
I just
everyone
have one quick question for Prod, if you're all here, or if one of you's here.
I'll
Right
answer.
here.
I'll answer without knowing what the answer
What's
is. Let's
up?
go.
Alternate? Really?
Cut the
Give us a
Zoom.
second.
I
Cut the
want to know.
Zoom.
Zoom.
I want to know. No,
Cut the
no.
Zoom.
I'm pissed about that.
Do you want me to keep it a buck with you?
Who was just so cool that you just had to pick him over me?
Also, do you want me to? I can wrap up the stream and then we can end the stream and then talk.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
That works.
So my last thing, I just want to say, it sounds like you guys have a lot that you need to hear at Final Tribal. This vote is pretty open to a certain extent. And as a juror and as a former juror in this series and as a former finalist before, remember that this person that wins, like I said, you guys have majority. The person that wins this game will be the representative of your season. So I want you guys to feel proud of the person you're voting for, or as proud as you can, given how you guys, given how this past hour has gone about all four of them. This vote's very important, especially on the first full returning season of this series. So make it count and don't take the vote lightly. But yeah, unless anyone has anything else they want to add here, you can probably call it.
I just want to say thank you, Trevor. You were amazing as a host here.
Yeah, Trevor, I like you. You're cool.
Yeah, I want to thank
Trevor's
Trevor.
amazing. Except if you play 72 days of game straight with him, then he's a pain in the ass. But other than that, he's amazing.
Vicky,
I feel
we
like
won back
anybody
to
would be a
back.
pain. Everybody
Y'all
would be a pain in
did
the ass after
that.
that.
Vicky and I played big games back to back. I won the first one and she won the second one. So I don't know what she's on
And they
about.
made
And we
Final Three both
We
times.
made Final Three both times.
Either way, one thing, Goth Kids, Alliance of the Season. It's
No,
fun.
y'all fucking no. I want Sure
You'll have
Jam.
your chance.
No, you know what?
No.
I want Goth Kids and I want Sure Jam to be 2 fucking nominations. All right. I need to see both those bitches' names up there.
Sure
Right? I
Jam
don't
wasn't
care
even a
who
real
wins.
alliance.
I don't even care. I don't even care.
Well, anyway, we're gonna stop the stream.
Yeah, stop the stream, Mikey.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody. See you all at
No,
the finale.
Mikey, wait.
Bye.
Mikey, wait. Mikey,
Wait,
wait.
don't kick us
Wait,
out.
wait.